So I arrived into JFK just after 12 noon. It's Sunday the 8th of October. We're now in our hotel, the Holden Express, Sunset Park in Brooklyn. And if I zoom in, there is Manhattan. And if I just come round here and zoom back out, that across there is Prospect Park in Brooklyn. It's all looking very lovely until you look straight down. And it's a bit of a, it's not looking so good. However, we'll just have that view instead. And I think just across there where that bright building is where the cruise ship goes from in the morning. Speak.
Hello.
Monday,
Monday the what?
9th of October.
It's Monday the 9th of October, and today we're boarding Princess's Caribbean Cruises.
We're kind of just up there.
Over there. Below the bridge, which is back.
Is where our cabin is.
Yeah.
C102. There. Right, so now we're inside, and in a wee while when we get into our stateroom we're going to be going down there.
That's it.
Wrong side. We're going to be
We're also,
going down there. This is deck 10.
yeah, so there.
Just come aboard the Caribbean Princess in New York on the 9th of October, and it's all free.
Welcome back, folks.
There we are, all the wax and red sleeve from
And for you to enjoy them, you need to connect to MedallionNet. MedallionNet is the name of the Wi-Fi mode.
New York.
To connect, you turn on airplane mode because there isn't a cruise ship.
Why are we moving off the Sun Loungers?
Cabin's available.
And
Lie in the sun lounger when you can lie in a bed.
so here we are, we're on the Caribe deck number 10.
I don't think we're there yet.
And we're heading for cabin number 201, which is on the port side, which means we're looking out towards Brooklyn at the moment.
C1 or 2.
Oh, I got it wrong. It's C102, not C201. Here we are.
Is that how it works?
And something unlocked. Yay, and we are in. So as we go in, let's go all the way in first, and then we'll come back and do a wee tour.
Canadian customs requirements and shore excursion tickets.
Right, so here we are. Here is our cabin.
We see Port Monkeys. Video for full detailed description.
And it is exactly the same artwork as they showed. And let's just go back and take a wee check at the... And here we are. Oops, a daisy. Light has gone off. Get back on. All that hanging space. A safe and some shelves. And this will be a shower room. Basin, toilet, shower. Not the biggest shower in the world, but hey ho.
The head's fixed.
Yep. Fixed head, so not a happy man, but everything. And let's go onto the balcony. Could you open the balcony door for me, please? And it's a nice big balcony. Part of it undercover. and part of it outside. And right down below us, I believe these are the suites that have even bigger balconies. But for the meantime, there is Brooklyn, where we're about to leave from. Chairs, table, footstools underneath, and back inside. Of London.
Size of building is going
Oh, there it is. The Green Spire. Is that the Empire State?
That's the Empire State with some yellow and the red.
We sail under a bridge, but we're going to have to insert name here when we get home because we've forgotten the name of it.
I'm sailing under the...
Okay, I'm going to try that again. And we are now sailing under the bridge.
What you do is you keep the soundtrack of the wind and everything, and you mix it with just a voice on top.
Oh, so it used to say it then.
Oh, get used to it. You go all the way around and up back to GFK.
Oh, bloody.
Oh.
double-decker bridges, 10,511 daylight out of me.
Drop down a bit. What is it? He's getting sort of a bit of a shot into the one there, quite nicely. Quite nicely once we're centred with it. Stay with the centre. Deck bouncing off the
Yeah, well, that's amazing.
thing there.
But we're the part of the bridge.
Yeah. That was it.
Goodbye, New York.
Tomorrow is
Tomorrow we arrive in Rhode Island. Nope. Newport.
Newport.
Yeah, Newport, Rhode Island. We dock at 6:30 AM.
See you there.
See you then. It's Tuesday the 10th of October and we have docked in Newport, Rhode Island. It's tenders to get to the port today. There are the first tenders waiting to take us.
From where we'll let you out, Bannister's and Bowen's Wharves, with a great array of restaurants and shops. Senator John Fitzgerald Kennedy and Jacqueline Bouvier were married there. And looking up on the left, Fair Street, you'll see the front door of St. Mary's Church. That's blue and white, including your ship, the Princess. So in the distance is Newport Bridge. It was completed in 1969. It connects this island, which is Aquidneck, the Native American name, Narragansett tribe, named this Isle of Peace. Take a look on the left if you like that light out here. They had a 26th winning streak ever since 1851, every 3 years, until 1983, off speed, not durability. So they're trying again, and the race will be held off the coast of Barcelona next fall. We sure hope it comes back here, as it was big. You all remember the name of Ted Turner from the CNN network? Yeah, he was a skipper in the America's Cup races here. His yacht was called Courageous, and he was known as Captain Courageous. He was quite the well-known figure here during that time. Coming up on the left, behind the white picket fence, is one of the summer homes of Edith Wharton. She was the first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize in fiction, and she was part of Mrs. Astor's very cliquish high society. It wasn't enough for Gilded Age mothers to find an appropriate bachelor, a rich bachelor in this country. They eventually wanted a title. Consuelo Vanderbilt, who summered in Newport as a youngster, was one of those what we call dollar princesses. She married the 9th Duke of Marlborough and snagged her mother, Alva Vanderbilt, a title in the family. So we're coming up on the right to a low red brick building with beautiful ivy on the outside. It was the former studio of the late sculptor Felix de Weldon. He might be a new name to you, but you all know his most famous masterpiece. It's in honor of the U.S. Marines, and the statue shows, yep, you all know. but some of the motor yachts are just absolutely huge. You can see some on the far right. And you probably saw some coming in. Did they come to where you're anchored? So after the Aussies won the America's Cup, the sailing leaders in the city started the Public Sailing Center, which is on the right. And one of the goals of the center is to offer free sailing lessons to all fourth graders. Yeah, isn't that great? And youngsters are well regarded here. The International Tennis Hall of Fame offers free tennis lessons and leadership classes. And there's another organization offering free golf lessons. The Gilded Age. Newport is the most Gilded Age city on the planet, because in the late 1800s the wealthy from New York, Boston, and Philadelphia sort of flocked here, thinking of themselves as America's royalty. So they wanted to live always like European royalty. So many of the big mansions are sort of imitations of European palaces. And the mansions wanted to have French chefs. Their menus were in French. The ladies went over to Paris to the House of Worth to get their gowns. Replica of one from the 1500s. This is Rhode Island's like official tall ship, and it's named Oliver Hazard Perry. Commodore Perry, who lived in the center of Newport, won the Battle of Lake Erie in the War of 1812. Rob is going to pull us up to the curb, and if anybody would like a restroom stop, it's in the red brick building, flag like open, or you can hop out and get a photo of your ship or the historic ship, or you can walk up to the entrance of Fort Adams straight ahead, and depending who's on guard, some guards let people in, some don't. So if you could please. Edward Berwyn, and he and JP own the sort of yachts that they raced in the America's Cup. It's Hammersmith Farm, where the Kennedys entertained 1,200 wedding guests. It was a beautiful day, September 12, 1953, and there's a lovely photo of the newlyweds that was taken down, snapped down by the bay, and Jackie's 10-foot veil is one of the 9 founders of Newport. Then in the late 1800s, it was torn down by the Auchincloss family of banking wealth, and you see the result today. Hammersmith was the city that William Brenton came from. The Auchincloss family owned it for several generations, and it's in the hands of another private owner today. Smith Farm. It's got a tall with a red cap, like another little lighthouse windmill. That's the guest house. And in 1974, Robert Redford was a guest there while he was filming The First Great Gatsby at Rosecliff Mansion on Bellevue Avenue here. And Cliff. Yeah, it is a hotel today, an inn, and the company who purchased it about 20 years ago added a ballroom in the back, and for $12,000 you can have an event there. It's especially popular with destination weddings.
Like speaks the first time.
And a very valuable Coast Guard for all the fishing that goes on here, the sailing regattas. The architecture of the first sort of Gilded Age villas, about 1860, 1870. But then when the next wave of wealthy came in, these weren't grand enough for them. That would have been on the other side of the island. So they had these torn down, the shingle-style buildings, and their grand mansions of limestone and marble constructed. A little showier. So your Princess ship is going to come out just beyond that outcropping of rocks, the ledge, and the other island across the way, Conanicut Island. And then you'll be zooming along in the beautiful Atlantic. The left is named after William Brenton, who built the first Hammersmith farm. And he had the land about half of this island. This park is very popular with kites. If you don't have one, you can buy one when you get here. The red brick building on the left is the park offices today, but in the late 1800s, that was just the laundry room and the servants' quarters for a very large mansion called the Reef that is no longer here. It is one of, and connected to that there, of course, we celebrated Columbus Day yesterday. There's a statue in Newport, and there was a parade that went up to it. Very symbolic. I think I'm looking at seagulls on the rocks. Another popular ubiquitous bird out by this shore is the cormorant. Maybe you've seen some already. They're black, and they hang out on the rocks too because they have to go fishing. There's some cormorants on the right, and they get all wet, but they can't fly if their wings are wet. So they have to dry themselves out. So if they're not diving and eating, they're drying out. On the left is the back of the Newport Country Club, and way back there you see the clubhouse designed by Whitney Warren, the same architect as New York Central Station. So a note about climate change: the cottage on the left isn't new. It's had a lot of work done to raise come over the seawall more than any other place. I can see a concrete wall that's been added around that property. Some other homes in other low-lying areas of Newport, especially colonial homes, have been raised up 3 to 4 feet, just being ready for the predicted climate change. The house on the left is considerably older, 1890. The architect was Richard Morris Hunt. The landscape architect was Frederick Law Olmsted. He did not put the TV about cars.
Jay.
Who is he? Yes, so right. Jay Leno. And he bought the mansion that has 7 chimneys, not the white trim one. The next one of the largest privately owned mansions in Newport. It's called Seafair. Its nickname is Hurricane Hut. It survived the 1938 hurricane. It's mammoth. So here's how Jay Leno came to own it. He and his wife Mavis were riding on Ocean Drive exactly like we are. She spotted it and she said, "It's unbelievable." And I read this in several articles, so he's quoted in it. And to himself he said he wanted to buy a mansion for his sweetheart. So he kept driving and he found the driveway, which we're going to pass. Drove, he said the gates open, the caretaker met him, took him around, got him on the phone with the owner, who said she would be willing to sell it for $13.5 million. And he said, okay, on one condition, you need to leave everything as is, including the ketchup and mustard in the refrigerator. We bought it. It's got 11 bathrooms, and he quips he's never had time to flush all the toilets. And he went off. It's been condoized today. In the late 1800s, the height of the Gilded Age, it was owned by Mamie Fish and known as the Fun House. Her parties were just the opposite of Mrs. Astor, the queen of society. Nice pretty villa called High Tide. It has its own putting green and tennis court. But it was known for its chef who could make 1 omelet a minute, and those parties that would last into the wee hours of the morning, they'd be calling Rudolph Stanish, the chef, and say, we'll hire you, come on over, give us breakfast. He said his secret was having the eggs at room temperature. Aha! Now we know. On the right is the very exclusive Bailey's Beach. That is another Vanderbilt mansion. We'll go real slow here. That's Rough Point. Frederick Vanderbilt, a grandson of the Commodore who made the money in shipping and railroads, didn't stay long. He didn't like the social climate here. A later owner was the heiress Doris Duke. And after she passed away, through her Newport Restoration Foundation, it became a mansion museum. He skippered 3 America's Cup yachts to victory in the 1930s. And looking to the left, behind hands for $30 million. And that's why Jay Leno, comparing, says his house was a ridiculous bargain. The man who paid the first bills for Miramar never saw it completed. He was George Widener. He went down into being renovated. The construction companies are having a heyday. Over the decades, it's been leased or purchased by various Vanderbilts and Astors. And one of those Vanderbilts hired an entire cast and crew of a Broadway play to entertain on the front yard. That's just an example of the Gilded Age over the top way. We'll go slowly. Here's the Marble House behind the marble wall. This was built for another Vanderbilt grandson, William, for his wife Alva. Several years later, she gave herself the gift of a new husband. Yeah. He was Mr. Belmont down the street. She moved in and his horses moved out of the lower floor. And then after he passed away, she moved back to Marble House, built a replica of a Chinese tea house, had one big costume ball, and then focused her time, her energy, money, big ego on getting the 19th Amendment, ladies our right to vote, passed. Alva was very instrumental, especially with her money. On the right, billionaire Larry Ellison purchased Beechwood, the Mrs. Astor's former digs. He's had a 12-year project to renovate it and, I would say, make the landscape very unattractive. On the left, another condo where the first Great Gatsby was filmed. Beautiful white inside and out. The tango scene of True Lies was filmed there with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it was built for Tessie and Herman Ulrich. Herman Ulrich's wealth came from shipping. And Tessie Ulrich grew up in a mining camp. Her Irish immigrant father founded the Comstock Silver Lode. What a contrast where she lived. And we're coming up to the Pell Center for International Relations on the right, named after Rhode Island's 6th-term senator, the late Claiborne Pell. This is part of the university called Salve Regina. Salve Regina is Holy Queen, Hail Queen, referring to Mary, the mother of Jesus. And the university was started in 1947 in one former mansion by the Sisters of Mercy. Now the campus includes 50 buildings on 80 acres and 1,200 co-ed students paying about $50,000 a year. So on the right, a repurposed Gilded Age mansion. This is Vernon Court. Today it's the National Museum of American Illustration with many, many charming original illustrations by Norman Rockwell. Modeled after a French chateau. Interesting, you can enjoy them. And then walking to the front door, to the entrance area. So the tree that you see kind of weeping down here is a European weeping beech, one of the favorite trees in Newport. And there's a lovely one sort of towards the end of this driveway on the left where we're going to be walking in. And it's a fun place to take pictures and like go inside in the middle of the branches. Children love it. It's like a little playhouse for them. So we're going to be walking on a sidewalk on the opposite side of this wall on the left, all the way to the front entrance.
Yeah, I went to look for her. I had just left, but I saw them. I said, oh, I'm going to inside. It's a library.
No book centre. Sit in front of the fire with a cup of tea. And the frescoes. Some panelling to show the bed. Yeah. A bit bigger than Hugh's organ, really. This is where they do a quick. Oh.
The battery's gone.
It says leaving Newport. And just seeing on the coast all the places we visited today on the trip. The fort. And then we're going to see some of the mansions on the way up. I think he's just making sure we actually leave. I think there's maybe some marquees up there, maybe a plaque on at that house. Ah, that's the one that they said you could hire it as a wedding venue for $12,000. But that seemed reasonable. Like there has actually been a wedding going on there today, and that's been coming down. I think maybe there's been Down there, you can see all the chairs and things sitting out. It's a bit woolly out there for a wedding though.
They take over gardens and stay there. They are not.
This coast is called Ocean Drive. It went on for 10 miles, I think. All the much smaller houses up the coast. It cost them here 5, 6, 7, 10 million. That's the Coast Guard leaving us and turning back. And as you look there, you can see the cars go along. That goes right out to the corner. And that's the corner of Ocean Drive. I thought I might be turning and going a bit closer to the coast, but maybe not. Maybe we need to go out a certain distance out, because I do see some rocks there. I thought it was a whale. Lost it now. No, can't find it. Ah, there, I thought it was a whale. I got the binoculars out, and it's a rock with some birds sitting on it. Oh well, maybe next time. It's another lovely dry morning. This is Wednesday, and over there somewhere is the New England coastline, and in a couple of hours we're ready to arrive in Boston, Massachusetts. Very windy, but it's nice and dry. Getting a wee bit closer to Boston. Lots of the islands. Lots and lots and lots of the islands on our way into Boston.
Never wanted to be after dark. Come to Boston up until the 1920s, when the North End was 90% Italian. The Italians have left their mark on the North End. Was all Revere moved here to the North End of Boston in 1770 with his wife Sarah. The former Revere with the help of some friends rose across Boston Harbor here to the right of us, right past the Penn and Somerset. British warships that was anchored here to the right that evening to prevent anyone from getting out of Boston to warn anyone else of anything. Revere, however, Navy completed commission that launched in 1797, clad in copper from Paul Revere's copper mill. So we are now coming in to our stop, number 3 for the USS Constitution, the Constitution Museum. Short walk to the Bunker Hill Pike. Just to the right of us, Boston's first floor was marked May 2nd will meet to plot the events of the American Revolution, which is why Faneuil Hall is also called the Cradle of Liberty. On the side of Faneuil Hall is Quincy Market. Down the middle of Quincy Market is 535 feet of booths and stalls, owned by the various Boston restaurants. Excellent variety. Great place to show up, some of which you will not find anywhere else in the United States. Faneuil Hall Marketplace is also the home of the Samuel Adams Apparel. And as we left to look to the side away from the sun, was the home of the largest community of free Africans in the United States. Was the northern endpoint of the Underground Railroad, not a subway, but a series of state houses, stretching from the American South, where prior to the Civil War slavery was legal, heading north to Boston and to freedom now in 1851. Both houses of Congress passed the Fugitive Slave Act, which basically defined an escaped slave as property. Property, by definition, cannot own property, not even him or herself. So for the first time in the history of the country, it was suddenly legal to capture an escaped slave and return him or her slavery from any state in the Union. Here's a storyline, that is the post office where Cliff Clavin worked. You'll also see outside of many of these shops another Victorian period detail. There are wooden signs with pictures of the goods and services that are on sale inside. To the right of us, beneath the scaffolding, you will see the boot of Helen's Leather Shop. They sell boots and shoes, of course. To the left, across the street on the corner, the Shears of the Della's Hair Studio. To the right of us again, the spine of the Charles Reed family chiropractic. Lisa and Delphine, they merely service them. 3 blocks to the left of us, between Pinckney and Mount Vernon. 3 blocks up the hill on the left is Lewisburg Square, the most prestigious address in Boston. Residents of Lewisburg Square include the novelist Louisa May Alcott. My mistake, sorry, but present residents of Lewisburg Square include former Secretary of State.
Oh, it's got a scaffold in it, but you still know what it is. It's the Cheers bar across there, I've just been in. And this is the top end of Beacon Street, Beacon Hill, which is the nice part of Boston. And that's the park. I think we're about to walk through the park, which was Boston Common, where they used to let all the cows just go in. This is Faneuil Hall. We've just walked here from the Cheers bar. We did get a wee sad loss, but we're fine. And we're going to Quincy Market, which is down behind. It's quite an unusual place.
The 1st Black Regiment to muster for the North, fight against the South in our Civil War. Denzel Washington and Matthew Broderick star in the movie Glory, telling the story of the 54th Regiment. Movie well worth checking out. The first live subscription or private library in the nation. In the 1700s. And then the building here to our left, that was our City Hall from 1865 till 1969. And coming up ahead of us on the right, at the bottom of the street here, will be a memorial. 3 o'clock is the next show with room for guests to join in. That's in 10 minutes. Another show going up in 10 minutes. The costumed actors recreate the meeting at the Old South Meeting House with and for you, bring you out aboard the replica ships. Distance of it. This is a newer property getting ready there. The elevator shaft hasn't even started appearing yet right there, but it will. Then the steel gets attached to the elevator shaft, which is getting the site ready. Don't see any signs telling us what.
Boston Cityscape, just come back from way up there somewhere. Or maybe even way up there somewhere. I'm not exactly sure, are you? Which bit were we at? Way up there's where we are. I think we're being followed. That's the Queen Mary 2 just parked behind us. Boston. This is Thursday the 12th of October and we arrived at Bar Harbour. Bar Harbour is in Maine, which is the furthest north state on the east coast of the United States. And this is our tender day. We're quite far from the coast, and today we've been joined by the Norwegian Peril alongside us. Lots and lots and lots of wee islands on the way. We're going kayaking today. Should be fun. It's Friday morning and this must be St. John, New Brunswick. You can't see anything out there because it's 5:30 AM. But we're out early today because we're going whale watching.
See over on the bridge there. But it went through, like I said, my wife and I were coming down the way we're coming today. You can see there was some smoke. It's like, okay, there's stuff going on. So we went down in, but then when we were in St. Andrews, we realized the smoke was barreling through. So we came back out. By the time we came back out, even right down in here, going by here on the door side, these are $2 bills a lot. I know. Yeah, they're in circulation. I know last year, I think, before a tip, someone gave me a $2 bill, American $2 bill. But yeah, we always had. So now we have a $2 coin, and it's called a toonie. So 2 loonies, basically, right? But yeah, and the rest of our money is just like Monopoly money, right? $5 bills, it's blue, the $10 bill is purple, but if you do, you probably will, because you're going to be in a few Canadian. Not so cute when you're trying to have to grow a garden.
No, what I mean is,
I usually go on. So here you can see, it is a historic city out on the door side. As we go around the turn, you can see there's a blockhouse down there. In August, we're have to mow the lawns maybe once a week, or the squirrels.
Squirrel on the road.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, we've had to continue mowing our lawns this year, which is quite unusual. But yeah, because of that, that's why the leaves haven't changed as much either. So there you can see right out into the harbor, you can see the beach here. We'll get you down to Jolly Breeze, get you dressed up, and you'll go out on your whale watching. When you come back, I'll meet you, and you'll have an hour or so, depending on how long that takes, to tour around the town, and then we'll head back probably around what time? Around 1:30 or so. But yeah, so there's different boutiques and shops along here. None are open yet. Yeah, that's a candy shop, right? Kids love that. That's a coffee shop here. Different places, different things. There's a few eating establishments. When you come back, you really want to come to the restaurants and stuff here.
We've been here nice and early for our whale watching. Just to get us all suited up.
Suited up. We've probably been survival suit.
at the moment. This is Canada, St Andrews, New Brunswick.
See these things low in the water? They're up a
No.
thing. That's the Zodiac.
Well, see when I say I'm booking a trip, maybe you should show some interest instead of just saying, yeah, whatever you like.
Just take a picture of that over there's what you thought you were going on. No, that's you.
I thought I was going on something like that. Apparently not.
Something like that.
See that wee grey thing down there? You can't even see it in the water. That's what we're going
It
on.
might not be quite that bad.
And we have to get all suited up. Maybe I should have brought the waterproofs today in the right bag, but I didn't.
Right, cool, bridge.
This is us back this afternoon. It's daylight. We've been out doing our whale watching. We saw a North Atlantic right whale. We were there out for 2 hours right enough before we found anything. And you might be able to see it on the video, you might not. It was quite small. This is St John. That's just the end of St John, just leaving that. And next stop is Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is right round the other side. A long journey around tonight. It's Saturday morning and we're approaching Halifax, Nova Scotia. There's some wee islands out there. I'm going to step outside, but you won't hear anything after that because it's very windy.
Little blue or red or green oval signs. There's some to your right now. That means and tells me those buildings have a historical designation, and it means when the buildings have the building. We want to keep our city of Rome being the second oldest in our country. To my left coming up is the old burial ground. Do I have any Americans on board? Okay, you may know a gentleman, or the name of a gentleman coming up here to your left, Major General Robert Ross. I'm going to talk to you about him.
No, I don't.
To my right is Government House, the gentleman that lives in the church. Halifax was founded in 1749 by the British, and only Anglican churches were allowed to be built. Shortly after, an influx of Irish people came to settle here, and they were all Catholic, and they wanted a Catholic church, and they begged and begged for a Catholic church. And about 80 years later, they finally got the go-ahead, and they built a beautiful church, the highest, grandest steeple. Anglican, of course, and it's St. Paul's Anglican Church. It is still in use today. And next to that is our parade square. And yes, we do have homeless people here, and they are allowed to be on parade square in the summertime. The middle of parade square has 2 cenotaphs, and at the end is City Hall. The parade square was used by the garrison to practice marching. No. Can we go along here? We have
tiny wheel houses.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it's the second harbor, second deepest, I just got distracted there. Second deepest harbor in the world, and it is the main port in coming from Europe. So any ship that comes from Europe will go directly to Halifax. They refuel, they get supplies, and off they go again. It's our winter port for Canada, so on the eastern seaboard. Okay, Another empty lot. And this is in the middle of our city and it's prime real estate. Well, I'll tell you about the one on my right. I graduated from there. Not the lot. There was a high school on it. And there was a high school on the other empty lot. Why did we have two major high schools kitty corner from one another? Well, I'm going to tell you. We back then had a Protestant and Catholic school board. I went to the one on my right, the Catholic. Now, we just were all Catholics. Upstairs and downstairs, from front door to back door, there was a yellow line in the middle of the corridor. Right from the front door to the back door, and the nuns would stand on that line. And we weren't even allowed to look down the corridor. No, we weren't. And we didn't know what would happen if we looked down that corridor past the nuns.
The devil
My
gets you.
heavens, we could have gone to hell. Well, we weren't about to look down there. I wasn't, for sure. I didn't want to go to hell. So I walked across to the Protestant high school and went looking for a boyfriend. Yes, and I always felt I had pulled one over on the nuns. And I hope they have forgiven me. But I will find out if they forgave me on my dying day. If I go north, they forgave me. If I go south, well, we all know the answer. I did find a boyfriend, by the way. To my right is gasoline prices, 161.7. That's per liter. And if you're not using metric, the closest amount to that would be a quart. So I know in the U.S. you buy your gas by the gallon. So if you multiply that by 4, that's what it would be per gallon. Our gas prices are a little steep. I know that for diesel now it's $2 a liter. So multiply that by 4, so you see what it would be a gallon. Okay, we are going to stop here. Quinpool Road. We just went through the commercial part of Quinpool Road, and on that commercial part you can find a restaurant from just about anywhere in the world. The food is really good and the prices are great. If you're would sell and are selling for $150,000 less than the houses on my left, the south end. You would be hard pressed to find a house to my left for less than $1 million. Okay, there was a gentleman that had a COVID project and it was carving. To my right, coming up here, he carved those animals and put them on the tree. Yeah, he's still carving the bumblebee is new this year. We are coming onto another body of water, and this body of water is called the Northwest Arm, and it is part of Halifax Harbor. It is used mostly for boating and swimming. There are 2 boat clubs, 2 yacht clubs, and it's in the summer it is full of sailing ships and any really type of a recreational boat you can imagine. If you turn your head to far left, you see a white building on a hill. That is Melville Island, and there's a little island behind it. If Melville Island was a prisoner of war camp, the one with the white building on it, it's a yacht club now, but it was a prisoner of war camp during all the wars. And if you were a visitor there at the prisons in our country, and the capital city, Halifax, has the 4th largest landmass, 3 hours to go from one city limit to the other. So when they saw Terrence Bay, they thought, oh, Halifax Harbor, and they headed up as quick as they could and hit the land. And they hit the land right at Mr. and Mrs. Clancy's backyard. Mr. Clancy quickly went down with ropes, and they were able to lower one lifeboat, tie a rope to each end of the ship to trees in Mr. Clancy's yard. And the two ships were owned by the same people. Died 420 men and one child were saved. Okay, we go along, and it's beautiful here to our left, and it's like this all along the coast of Nova Scotia. The coast of Nova Scotia has 6,000 kilometers of coastline. That is 3,728 miles of coastline. So it's like this all the way around Nova Scotia. What you see to my left, fish. So just a little bit about myself, and when we get to Peggy's Cove, I hope to chit-chat with some of you and learn a little bit about you folks. Again, my name is Simona Alloway. I was born in that little blue area on the map I pointed out to you. It was called Petit Ruisseau, or Little Brook, and the population, that is when everyone is home for Christmas, is 35. West Dover. The people in this village are beautiful people. I used to teach the children from here. Really, really nice, down-to-earth folk. They live to my right. They commute to work. They cross the road, and there's their workplace, the Atlantic Ocean. The people on the left can see the lobster traps down here. Don't worry, the people on the right, you'll see plenty of lobster traps today. I'll point some out to you as we get into Peggy's Cove. All these are little all these are huts for the fishermen. Now we're coming up to this beautiful home on the left. I would say this fisher is doing really, really well. Yeah, he's working hard. He's doing well. Not quite as well as the fellow up here in the grayish house. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry to burst your balloon. That's a summer cottage. It belongs to an American. He only comes there a couple weeks a year. Anything in his path, big boulders and big rocks. And when it started to recede and melt, by the time it got to Nova Scotia and Peggy's Cove, you can look all around you. It donated us these big boulders. This was a donation from Mother Nature. Sometimes I question it. Anyway, we have them, these beautiful boulders, and they're on both sides of the road. This is not the preservation area. There's one hiking trail, and you have to have a guide with you. Otherwise, you're not allowed to walk through any of the preservation area. Why? There are a lot of plants in here that are on the endangered list. Peggy's Cove Lighthouse was built in 1914, and it is now not a lighthouse anymore. The building is there, but in 1958, technology took over the works of the lighthouse, and it became the Peggy's Cove Post Office until the inside of it became to the point where it needed a lot of repair if they continued having people working in there. So what they did, they closed the inside of it and they maintained the facade of it. They moved the post office out of there, and I'll show you as we go along what they are. Bus red number 1. We are bus number red number 1. I'm going to have my giraffe holding, so you'll know it will be on the windshield when we come back. We're going to take a left here into Peggy's Cove. I'll point out the washrooms to you. If you have your passport with you, I'll show you the building. The post office is upstairs in that building, and they will stamp your passport with our postage stamps. We're allowed to do that. Coming up here to the left is one of the boulders Mother Nature gave us. There it is. It's called the Kissing Rock. I was a high school teacher, remember, in the area. I say to my students, did you get your first kiss behind the Kissing Rock? And some were so bold, they go, yes, I did, Mrs. Alloway. The others would say, no, I didn't. Oh, I knew they were fibbing me.
Yeah.
The blue house to my right is Eric's house. And I used to teach Eric, a nice young man, and that's where he builds his lobster traps, to my left. If you turn your head sharp, sharp, sharp to the right, you'll see the carving on the stones. William de Garth did that, and we're going to talk about that when we come out of the cove. If you've been here before, you'll notice a difference. We no longer walk on the road. There's sidewalk, there's a boardwalk. The boardwalk goes right onto a viewing platform. You can walk on the rocks way out to the light if you want, or you can just stand on the viewing platform. Coming up here to my left is a blue house, and I guess they make the best lobster rolls if they're open. And oh, they are. I do not get commission, by the way. And to my left here, this is Amos Pewter. And if you want to buy a made in Nova Scotia gift, that would be the place to buy it for someone looking after your plants or your animals. To my right, this little piece of land here, if you have $2.8 million and would like to buy it, is still available.
See those rocks?
Right, to my right now is a big gray building with all kinds of windows. In there is a gift shop, a restaurant. We do not have time to sit down and eat here, but we will be able to buy food and bring it onto the bus and eat it on the way back to the pier. The restaurant there is known for its gingerbread and lemon sauce. Now we are going to go up into the parking lot, and right ahead of the bus, as we turn, right in front of us is a ramp, and that is how you get onto the viewing platform right in front of us and to building 184. The building, the small one here to your right, 184, is washrooms. We bring in lake water, so the water in the toilet is a little discolored. To the other side of it, the building here is, this is where the retail shop is.
How do you know if I'm recording?
Because the red light's on. Yes, it is recording. Please start to continue with the John.
So here we are in this lovely fishing village. Well, I dare say it was until the 10 coaches, double deckers all arrived this morning. Wow. Here we are, right in the center. You've got Daddy way up on the top of the rocks.
Yeah, she was going against him before.
Where are you going now? Now I've got to do the same.
You stop.
The legs are too wee.
It's not about being wee. It's because you come to a stop. When you stop, you have the body then loses its momentum and its energy to move across the gap.
Crosses, but oh. There and down there, is that too big a...
but you won't.
I'll manage.
No, you won't. What you do is
We'll
you...
be doing it that one, will we?
There to your left is the history of Peggy's Cove carved in the rock. When he turned 7, he did not finish the carving. When he turned 70, he died extremely quickly. She turned 83. She got to the point where I'm just too the cause of property on Peggy's Cove. So the government, they will call that penthouse right on the harbor in the nursing home. Nobody can afford it. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month. It's empty. We'll put her up there, you see. Well, I'm going to tell you, the government paid for that property. Agnes lived to be 103. Yeah, good on Agnes. Good girl. Yeah, good girl, Agnes. To my right, it went right over the house. I couldn't believe the noise. I ran out on the deck. I could see the people's heads in the window. The numbers, I could read every fine number or word on that plane. I said to my husband, we better turn the news off. And we did. And shortly after we heard, the plane had come down into 5 kilometers past the Naked Cove Fight in the North Atlantic. No one survived. No one. The government and the Navy, that little French village, Nova Scotia, I wear a blue pride. It was the green is for all our forests. Has a yellow crest in it. The yellow line was a crest, and the red line, and of course land was always up for grabs. So in 17, I want to point out to you at the end of this cove, this beautiful gray building, the big one with all the white windows, and next to it is another home with a copper roof. The gray and white one belongs to Tom Selleck, and the one with the copper roof belongs to Sandra Bullock. Why do they have cottages here? By the way, I'm not starting gossip here. They're not having an affair or anything. No. They're never here at the same time. Tom Selleck, he filmed Jesse Stone here. And he got to really like Nova Scotia. So he built himself that summer home. And in chit-chatting someday with Sandra, he must have told her how beautiful things were here. And she has that. He comes there every month with these shiny buttons. And they got off their horses. And they chit-chatted for quite a while and said, now we know that you're ready to fight for the King of England. Oh, no. We are going to fight for the King of France. Came back, said to Edward, yep. In the meantime, those French had to walk back, and they walked and come back. They did. They arrived, and all they could see in front of them was a sea of white jackets. It was a gorgeous sight. There was a little tiny body floating without a life jacket. they got the current body and they took it out of the water and they looked at it.
This is, we've not long left Halifax. There's just zoom in. There's Halifax over there. Lighthouse, but not the one we're at today. I've seen a lighthouse, but not the one we're at today. This is Sunday morning and we're arriving into Sydney, which is in Cape Breton. There's a lovely wee town there, right on the Atlantic coast. Well, actually, we must be up and around into Abbey. It's far too smooth here to actually be still out in the Atlantic.
The Hawaiian Islands are oceanic islands. They're out in the middle of the ocean. They're not part of a continent. If you've ever been to Long Island, New York, or Manhattan, those are continental islands. Same as Cape Breton. Water from the coal company. Most of the things they bought in companies and farmers. River in the summertime. It stayed here for a week. It swam back and forth in front of the houses here. People were coming out on their job, Newfoundland. They travel 365 days up on the shoreline, and I do, because I know where to look. Over the left-hand side, I see a blue hull and white superstructure. That's one of those. One is substantially higher than the others, but we're not going to drive up the higher Appalachian Mountains. Going out into the ocean, right-hand side. Are the lakes salt water? The answer to that is yes and no. It's brackish water. It's part salt and part fresh. It's part salt because the tide comes in and out of those lakes twice a day. Small mountain. If you come from a place like Holland or Florida, it's a mountain. If you come from the Alps, it's a molehill, or the Rockies. The name of this particular mountain we're going to drive up is called Kelly's Mountain. And Kelly's Mountain was named after an Irishman who came here in the 1800s. He opened quite a few legitimate businesses, and he made most of his money making and selling illegal alcohol that we call moonshine. The government tried to put him out of business. He moved these stills to the mountain that we're going to drive up, made a fortune, retired, and moved back to Ireland as a wealthy man and died in Ireland. Okay, translate that. Arm of gold. That's what it is. And when the early French explorers came here and they're on the Bedour Lakes in the evening and the sun was going down, the water took on a golden tinge. So they called it Bedour Arm of Gold.
That was Alaska.
I know, but the same thing with the...
It's in my dad.
Another bird that we're proud of here is called puffins, and I'll tell you a little bit more about those a little later. So Kelly's Mountain to the right of us. We're on the island of Ulladury. We're going to drive over Seal Island Bridge. Open ocean, be down to the right-hand side. And the Bedour Lakes aren't really a lake, they're an inland sea or estuary of the sea. The rock cliff we see across from here is not natural. That is where they took the material. So up Kelly's Mountain we go. Now we're going to stop when we crest.
choose not to do.
Cross the road?
All the colours, lovely. Not as nice as they usually are, apparently.
My grandfather took a job in the coal industry, the Sydney area, and my grandfather gave me Gaelic phrases, and he'd tell me, say that, we're going to visit a Gaelic college. We're going to take over the washroom. But we're not leaving on anybody who doesn't get in the washroom in 20 minutes. We're going to drive up towards a place called Ingonish, and Ingonish got its name either from the Portuguese fishermen or from the Mi'kmaq. We don't know who. Nobody knows for sure. The sign says world famous Cabot Trail. I don't know if it's world famous, but it certainly is well known in Canada. So that's Gibson on the shoreline.
Because we tend to
So we're tying it down towards the water there.
Gaelic road signs and never spoke.
Just from this area, lived in this area for a while, and there must be something special about that place if it satisfied Norman. And Norman lived here for a little while. You see, the peaks here are not sharp; they're rounded. Area is very familiar with, and those are white-tailed deer. Almost everybody knows white-tailed deer if they live in North America. They're common on the island. We also have on the island the big because it was overpopulating so much that they're eating out the forest and turning it into grassland. So they're changing the environment. They're ungainly looking. They look harmless. I put a stop to that. That was not a good idea. And I know for everyone the caribou was dead within 3 years. They didn't starve to that. They didn't freeze to that. People didn't kill them. Predators didn't get them. And you guess what happened to them? Lots of food. No shortage of food. I'm going to tell you what happened, and I'm going to have to explain it. They were killed by white-tailed deer. Now, white-tailed deer didn't jump on their back and kill them. What happened was, after the caribou were killed off in the mountains here, the white-tailed deer moved into the mountains. They weren't there. It's not particularly dangerous to white-tailed deer. It's deadly to caribou. So as soon as they put the caribou up there, North America, north of the Carolinas. So you have to go down at least to the Carolinas to find water as warm as Prince Edward Island in summertime. So the water there would be warmer than it is off New Jersey, New York, New England. So this is, it's either filled with water or very little, depending upon the rain. It's kind of low now. It'll get higher if there's heavy rain. So if you want to be alone, walk up that river and you're going to Brownies Well. It's Cape Smoky, and it is substantially higher. Wash out the storms. There's a lot of work on it to improve it, and I can tell you from experience, this is not the most pleasant stretch of road in the wintertime. When there's snow and ice on this, it can be a little bit harrowing. After we drive to the top of Cape Smoky, we're going to enter a part of Cape Breton Island that we call North of Smoky. And north of Smoky, the winters are longer than they are south of Smoky, and there's much more snow. So once we start down the other side of Smoky, we will be north of Smoky. And this is definitely a mountain rock. Looking back to the the south, if you look to the right hand side, back towards Kelly's Mountain and the Bird Islands. Actually, back towards Sydney.
Trip up to the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Is
Just
it?
up the car park.
So if you look to the right hand side and you see the trees over there, those are more boreal. They're more subarctic type trees than the ones down below. And a common characteristic of those trees is that generally they're long and thin, long and skinny. Down in the city here. And that water to the right hand side is Silk Bay, Ingonish, part of the Atlantic Ocean but a bay. There's also a North Bay, Ingonish that we're going to see.
Big difference.
And there's an American National Park in the Bar Harbor area. What's it called? Acadia National. And guess what? You're in Acadia right now. Tell you about it later, but you are. And they're taking people up to the chairman. Yes, they are. And there's people going to go buying tickets to go up the chairlift. I can see them. The water carries silt, goes out in the ocean, falls to the bottom, you get little islands. So that is same as the Mississippi River Delta, a million times smaller. Then slip. We're going to stop out on Middlehead, take some photographs, then we're going to get back in the bus and we're going to North Bay, Ingonish Island.
And that's the ski slopes here that just came past the chairlift off at the bottom a few minutes ago.
Makes sense. I guess they
The ocean in northeastern North America is as warm as it's ever been recorded.
Paris Beach, but Daddy says I'm not allowed to go past one.
Russians are doing the same thing from the others. So that's been going on for a long while.
Oh, so
Yes, it is. I stayed in a hotel in Bangor when those planes were coming in, and I've seen them fly over my house. Well, they're not over my house, it looks like they are, for many, many years. See the grey house on the right hand side of us when we start down the highway? That style of house, called the Newfoundland Salt Box. That's the style. If you look at it, it looks something like a salt box. Shape. Say LP. chairlift, people going up in the chairlift. Now, Highland runs in Nova Scotia. The most snow during the season for a ski slope, but it has a major... It is about the same size as France, and it has approximately the same number of people as Sydney has. So if you take France and put little Sydney, Nova Scotia in it, that's nothing. So if you want to be alone, go to Nunavut, you'll be alone. Don't look substantially different than the Appalachian Mountains in the United States. I've been... One of the patent, the type of telephone he was working on, not exactly the same as Bell's. The charge for the patent was $15. He didn't have $15. And he told the patent officer, I'll be back in a couple of days with $15. He got back too late. Bell got there between hand and took out the first successful patent on the telephone. Now the other gentleman's telephone was different than Bell's telephone, worked on different principles. Metric. We weren't always metric. I was teaching school when Canada went metric, and the parents come in for Parents' Day the first year, and they were not too pleased. By little loyalists. So that having been said, you'd think that the majority of people in the Sydney area were of English descent. They're not. Most are from the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. If you look at most of the houses, wooden construction, single family dwelling, they all have lawns, some will have gardens. And most of the plants that you see, Member 2 is a Mi'kmaq community that exists entirely within the boundaries of Sydney, and it's said to be the most prosperous indigenous community in Canada. So Member 2. And it's exactly 5 o'clock.
Sunday the 15th of October. Today we have been in Sydney, which is on Cape Breton, an island at the north end of Nova Scotia. We took a trip up around the Cabot Trail, which was absolutely lovely. You saw the autumn colours, really nice. Unfortunately, the captain just come on and said tomorrow's trip to, or visit to Prince Edward Island has been cancelled due to bad weather, which actually filled me with fear because we're now on this boat for 2 days and I can't get off. So we're going to have to do lots and lots of laps around the deck to keep me from going mad. This is Monday the 16th of October. We should be docked in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. However, the weather was going to be too bad and too choppy and too dangerous to dock because the swell was about, what did you say, 14 feet or something. So I've just had to sail past Prince Edward Island and we're going slowly towards Quebec, which means we've got an extra day at sea. And it's pretty blustery and choppy out there. Not stepping outside, open the door just to show you how choppy it is. A bit calmer now, just a tad, not much. Prince Edward Island, but never mind. Here we are. We're now going down the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Way in the distance there. Oh, was it a minute ago? Wait. Over there is, you can see the outline just below the clouds of the mainland of Canada. And if you look at the other side, it's Ile de Anticosti, which is an island that's owned by Quebec. But that's out the other side. It was off on the deck a few minutes ago. I didn't have the camera with me. Right, we're on Tuesday, and this is a sailing down the Bay of St. Lawrence. In the distance there are some pretty high ridges over there. Hard to distinguish the name of the clouds the right name. A lovely calm day. Blue sky as well as clouds. Is that nice? And where are we going next?
Breakfast.
There you are, the coast of Canada over there. As we get further down into the St. Lawrence Basin, the land should get closer on both sides. We seem to go down the right hand side of the channel. Maybe that's because they drive on the right, didn't think about that. But the land is closer on the other side of the ship at the moment. Something on the horizon there. It's a lovely day. Beautiful blue skies. Here we're getting a bit further down. The coastline getting a bit closer. And it's getting a bit colder, but then it's meant to just be 5 degrees in Quebec tomorrow. Chilly. Lots of layers. It's Wednesday morning and we've arrived in a very foggy Quebec. Can't say this is the view I was hoping for. Maybe the view I'm hoping for is out the other side. I can see some nice buildings in the distance. It's a chilly 9 degrees, so there's going to be jackets and hats on before we go anywhere. We're now up on deck 16. Just having climbed from deck 5 after breakfast. There's a bit more of the Montreal, oh, wrong city, Quebec, than we'd expected. It's a bit of a foggy day though. There's the famous hotel up there, the Fairmont, and down there, the green roof, just behind that is a train station that we need to walk to, but that's not until tomorrow.
Tourism. And the third one is biotechnology. Lots of research are done here in Quebec to try to find cure for cancer and new vaccines as well. And soybeans until their next shipment to Europe. And soon to your right hand side, you'll see the Place de Paris, but also the Royal Battery it is a reconstruction, and it is where Frontenac had defended Quebec in 1690. So all the cannons you see in the city, in Lower Town and Upper Town, they never served for any war here. They're all gifts from private collectors to the city.
I thought it would be a nice area here so you can take pictures of the old roof and the hotel. So politicians had to connect East and West Canada with a railroad and build luxurious hotel along the way. So Chateau Frontenac was built in 1893. It was the second one. You hear me well? You want to come a little closer? I just want to show you here. Because probably tomorrow you have a bit of free time in town. No? No. Yeah. We're going to Montreal. So, everything started in 16 North America. So where we are standing, the black stone pavement indicates where Samuel de Champlain, the founder of Quebec, had built his first and second habitation. But since the church was through electricity. Also another thing very important is those cast iron circles or straight black bars. These are SS braces. They are skewered through the floor right to the other side of the wall and maintain the wall from tilting from one side to the other.
Better? Is that a nice picture? You're such an actor.
New idea. Ladder panel on the roof. Put there for cleaning chimneys, but we could do for cleaning solar panels.
We will still have some of the effect. Yeah, a little bit, not much. Not as much anymore. Parking lot. It was supposed to be was founded in 1639 by the Augustinian nuns and enlarged in 1930s. This is where you can have treatment and where they do research also at the hospital and on your right hand side in these buildings here. And you probably have heard of the poutine. Did you hear about the poutine? Did you taste them? No? It's French fries, cheese curds, not grated cheese. You can have on top. Perpendicular to line. On your right hand side we have the American Embassy, McDonald's. You'll see that I like to tease a little bit. And there's a few pubs. So like in the lower town where we were earlier and up here, there is locals who live in this area year round. Left hand side here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the City Hall. You'll see behind also there in the gardens, they all decorated for Halloween. And the tall building is the Price Buildings, where the main office of the Price Brothers who were in pulp and paper industries. But today it houses the Caisse de dépôt et de placement de Québec, where they manage our pension plan. And the last story at the top is the private office of the Premier of Quebec, Mr. François Legault. Quebec. 1820, there was 16 hangings right in front of the main entrance here. After the prisoners were moved to another prison, it became a college, the Morin College, a division of McGill University, where they did what we were earlier, and inside the walls, okay? So now we're going through the Kent Gate. It's part of the fortifications built by the French in at the time we used to have 8 gates, but at the end of the 1800s, municipal authorities wanted to tear the whole thing down because population needed to have green space and fresh air. So and the middle tower by the Big Ben in London. No, sorry, not the Big Ben. The Big Ben is the clock. It's Queen Elizabeth II Tower. So all the statues you have in front and all around are men and women that dedicate their life to either education, politics, and religion. Part of the land here was his for agriculture. Also on your left-hand side, you have the cross of sacrifice that was erected to commemorate the soldiers who fought and died during the Two World War and the War of Korea. So you have a nice view of the fortifications of Quebec. So Plains of Abraham, since we kept the walls, was created for the population to have green space and fresh air. So it starts from here and 66 acres along to your right, and from here almost to the shore of the St. Lawrence. Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to pick up my laundry this morning. On your right hand,
My father loved them. We had a lawn.
Just trying to see when you see the revolving airship revolve. It takes 90 minutes to revolve.
the prison, but now it's part of the Museum of Fine Arts that we are just behind. It's called the Baillarger Pavilion, named after the architect who built it. And you can still visit the cells in the basement with path, and this is here where we did have the Battle of 1759, the French against the British. So James Wolfe attacked by the Montmorency. I'll ask Paul also to slow down in front of the monument dedicated to James Wolfe at the exact site where he passed away during the battle. You see red bricks, old stone, and two for the restaurant owners are very happy to extend their terraces right to the asphalt. Prince in 43 and 44, and try to find ways to end the World War II. So it is here, the debarkment in Normandy, the D-Day was decided. So they had meetings at the Citadel and lodged at Chateau Frontenac Hotel. So right now we are on St. Louis Street, 39. And also, on your left-hand side, you'll see a small white house with a red roof. The restaurant, the Old Canadians. The oldest house, 1677. And on your right, so the statue you'll have on your right hand side here, this is the statue of Champlain, founder of Old of Quebec, that happened in 2008. So while they were fixing the pedestal, they found a time capsule inside. That was placed at the time of the inauguration. So the Historical Society So Notre Dame of Quebec Basilica and Cathedral received a few years ago a gift from the Pope, a holy door, because we did celebrate the 350 years of the oldest diocese in North America. Have a quick look of the Montmorency Falls.
I'll be patient.
No problem, sir. That's okay in case I forget. But I want to bring your attention to your right-hand side. You'll see a narrow passage of the river, and that's what it means, Quebec, where the river narrows. So the bridge here is called the Taschereau Bridge, named after one of the premier of Quebec, till the end of March if they were lucky. So the island, after all, when Jacques Cartier, our first explorer, arrived here in 15. So that's what I meant also. On a beautiful day during the weekend, it became like a habit or a custom, you know, to, with families here, you put a picnic together and spend the day on the island and come and pick your own fruit, either strawberries or raspberries, blueberries, and apples. We'll try to do that. No problem, sir. We'll try our best. While he was living in New York. So beautiful homes on your left and your right hand side. Merci, Paul. Colors later on as well. Manor. It was the summer residence of the Duke of Kent, and afterwards was converted into a small hotel, burned partly in 1993, and today most of the land here at a certain time, just to help you to situate you.
What was the name of it again? Can't remember. More of the falls, a bit closer. And there's actually steps up over there. And then there's a wee bridge up there, which is actually the bridge just now. And then the walkway across the top. Yeah, there's the ship. I've just walked off the ship, out of the dock, and round here is the Chateau Frontenac. There we go. There it is. I've just got another wee bit to walk round to the green copper roof building, the train station.
Twice as high as we used to live in Cumbernauld.
Yeah, well, we've made it here. We got off the train in Montreal and we actually managed to find the luggage. And we've walked to the hotel, the Intercontinental. And there you are. Daddy's not going too close to the edge because we're on the 19th floor. A nice big room. 2 corner windows, I'll go there in a minute. Nice bathroom. Nice shower. And curtain. Whoa. And we're looking down onto somebody's roof terrace. I'm turning around, I think. Way down there are cars. Yeah, a lot of city, a lot of glass. And round the pillar and out the other window. Looks like a bit of older city across there in the distance. And we park down there. And that's us. Look, Daddy's just put on the telly and see what it says. Welcome to Montreal, Ian.
Lane.
Good.
Right, did that do a streaky light thing?
Here we have Montreal by night. Lights everywhere. There's even lasers going up there somewhere.
Yeah. Top of the Air Canada building.
Mm-hmm. All the way down to the ground.
To the brightness down.
So that's the hotel lobby. We've come out of the hotel lobby and it comes into this. Oh. It's shopping and restaurants. Unfortunately didn't find this last night. Okay. Is that the back door she meant to go out? No. On our way to Mount Royal, we've just seen some fortifications or something, so we've just stopped.
Shit.
Just to make sure we're going the right way.
Yeah, we missed it.
And Daddy says, oh shit, we've missed it. So I think we go
No, we're right at the back end of it.
back.
So we're going that way
Downhill.
and then up to the top.
Oh well, that way in for the top sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're at the start of the climb. We think we've picked the path and not the steps, but there seem to be
Steps on the path.
steps on the path. So we're a bit confused as to whether we're on the bit that Hannah told us or not. But we'll get there. Thought a nice walk around the lake might be nice, but a walk around the lake would be
I think we
lovely.
need to do...
Well, what did you just say?
Is that it? Fingers.
No, what did you really say?
No, it's worth a climb. Come around a wee bit more. Should get bridges up onto there.
That's the old way out to St Lawrence. The bridge is coming across to St Lawrence. You can see further up actually.
Yeah.
Further up the river.
Yeah, we see most of
We could do a panel for years, huh?
Can you wait this sec? Sorry. Okay, stop talking.
And the turn right round. The chalet at the top.
Go, buddy. You got it. It's almost there.
Smile.
Segundo.
Just racing up to the fall. The leaves are all falling, just flowing down. the entrance. Should have done this yesterday. You come in and you've got to go up to the lobby. Oh. In the lobby. Yeah. Just look that up from your back.
This is more what I was looking for. It has that, it does have that French feel. Yeah, culture.
Awaiting the poutine. A trap.
Very nice food.
And another freight train that goes on and on and on. Does that make you happy?
Yeah, I think that was the Money,
Yeah.
this place. The things here are very French.
in Millfield column. And then down to the square. Where we had lunch.